Yeah. Whoa. I speak. We change lives, Jesus. I speak.
Welcome to the TP Masterclass. On behalf of Cliff Cheqona and the entire TP family, we're honored to have you here. You didn't just join a live session. You stepped into a transformational experience designed to help you master your mind, align your emotions, and trade with clarity and conviction. We'll be starting shortly. In the meantime, settle in and prepare your notepad. Like the stream, subscribe if you haven't already. And most importantly, invite someone who needs this. Because around here, we don't just trade, we transform. Let's get started soon.
I speak life, I speak spirit. We change lives, Jesus did it. I speak life, I speak spirit. We change lives, Jesus did it. Step into my Monday. I'm stepping to my Monday. I'm stepping to my Monday. We change lives, Jesus did it. I'm stepping to my Monday. I'm stepping to my Monday. I'm stepping to my Monday. We change lives, Jesus did it.
What is the TP family, and how do you become part of it? Don't worry, if you're watching this, you're already part of the TP family. Now, before you ask, no, it's not take profit. That's the first thing traders think, right? TP stands for Trading Psychology. When Cliff Cheqona created this community, he didn't want to make it all about himself. He wanted to create a space for traders built around a simple truth. Most traders lose because their mindset isn't ready for success. So what's the TP family? It's not a company. It's not an organization. It's a movement of traders who are done chasing shortcuts, done trading emotionally, and done feeling like they're alone in this journey. Now, let me be clear. We're not here to build another Telegram or Discord group. You don't need more chats or endless notifications. All you have to do is follow our content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. That's where we deliver everything. Masterclasses, podcast clips, mindset tips, and even those hard truths no one else will tell you about trading. Our vision for 2025 is simple: education. We teach traders what really matters, not just strategies, but the mindset behind them. Through our TP Masterclass, podcasts, and content, we make sure traders know how to manage themselves first. Community. The TP family is all about connection, but instead of chat rooms, we meet through meaningful content that actually helps you grow. Tools. We're creating journals, simulations, and practical resources to help you track your progress and improve your trading behavior. The TP family is here to change the way traders think forever. We're not about quick wins. We're about creating strong, resilient, unstoppable traders. Welcome to the movement. Let's make 2025 the year you fix your mind and fix your trading.
It's a mind game. You heard me. Trading is a mind
Good day, TP family. How's everyone doing? Another week is here. Yay! Is everyone excited as I am? I hope everyone is excited to be here today for a brand new Saturday learning. How are you feeling? How's everyone doing? How was your trading week? Did you face any challenges that you want to share in the live chat? Did you have a breakthrough? Did you know anything? How was everyone's trading journey this week from Monday to Friday, except if you trade crypto or any other assets, or if you do almost blew my account. I am so sorry to hear that. It's not very pleasant if you almost blew your account. Hopefully, the coming new week, you'll be able to recover the losses that you took. Hi, I'm from Nigeria. This is my second time joining, and this week was a blessed one. I give God the glory. Amen. I didn't trade this week, Shells. Awesome. It's okay if you did not trade this week. The market is always there from Monday to Friday, except if you trade crypto or any other assets. But welcome, guys. Welcome to another new TP Masterclass today. I hope everyone is feeling very awesome to receive the new information that we have available for you today. once again, I want to say a very big thank you from my whole heart for always joining us every Saturday to join the TP Masterclass live here on YouTube. And if you are if you are tuning in from Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, any other country in the world, please let me know in the live chat right now so that I can give you a shout out to the best of my ability. So if you're I don't know why I keep saying trading. If you are tuning in from Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, UK, Uganda, Namibia, UAE, let me know in the live chat right now. And if you are on Facebook and Instagram, hello. Hi, I hope you're having a wonderful time over there too. You can also put where you're tuning in from in the live chat on Facebook and on Instagram. It's just I wouldn't be able to see it, but just you can always put it there, and so that everyone else who's tuning in will be able to say hello to you too. So we have people from Nigeria, South Sudan, Ghana, USA. Hello everyone. And if this is your first time joining us, this is your first time joining us, please also put it in a live chat. You're gonna add in first time in the chat so that I can welcome you properly, as this is not just a class, this is a family, and we are so glad that you found us. And because you're also a first timer, you're probably wondering where you should start from all the episodes that we have had ever since we started the TP Masterclass, because we are on episode 39. So you're probably wondering, where do I start from? Well, wonder no more. You can go on our YouTube channel and then you can click into playlist. Once you click into the playlist, you can go to season 1 TP Masterclass, and then you can click on the video titled "What is Really Trading Psychology?" In that episode, it will help you understand why we are doing what we are doing and what this community is really about and what really is trading psychology, so that every other episode that you tune into, you'll be able to have the foundation of the understanding of what you need to take away from our TP Masterclass. Another thing that we always do here, from Monday to Friday, we post what we call the TP Declaration. It's just a picture, but every time you see it, make sure not to scroll past it. Make sure that you pause. Make sure that you are reading it out loud. Make sure that you are speaking it over your day. And make sure that it also enters your system, because before you enter the market, you need to enter with the right mindset. And it starts with the TP Declaration. You have to speak it and live it while you are trading for that particular day, because we post it from Monday to Friday except for the weekends. On the weekends, you'll find us here every Saturday, 6 p.m. UK time. So to set up the atmosphere wherever you are, I just want you to start practicing some breathing technique. You can start with the 4-7-8 breathing technique, where you are breathing in for 4 seconds, holding it for 7 seconds, and letting it go for 8 seconds. It will help you really align yourself with the stream. It will help remove every distraction from your environment. It will help you make sure that you are paying attention to everything that we are saying. And also make sure that you are grabbing your notebook and your journal to jot down everything that could possibly be enlightened in your trading journey. So make sure that you grab your notebook and your pen or your pencil, whatever you use to take notes every time you join the TP Masterclass. Make sure that you are doing so, okay? Another quick serious reminder that I always end with is, if anyone in the comments is trolling or spamming or distracting others, we will quietly remove you from the stream, with the exception of if you are on Facebook or Instagram, we will still remove you. It's not anything personal, it's just about protecting our atmosphere, because some people here are really here to grasp the information that we have available for them. So if you are distracted them, it's very disrespectful, and we don't condone that here. Okay, so make sure that you respect each other, and make sure that whatever you wish to put in the live chat, it goes along with what we believe in here at the TP Masterclass. So without any further talking, I'm just gonna hand over the session to the next segment, and please stay tuned for more to not miss anything. Thank you.
It's a mind game. You heard me. Trading is a mind game. Fix your mind, fix your trading. Fix your mind, fix your trading. It's a mind game. You heard me. Trading is a mind game. Fix your mind, fix your trading. Fix your mind, fix your trading.
All right. Good evening, wonderful people, and thank you very much for tuning in yet again to another TP Masterclass. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Willis Aromi, and as I've been sharing, especially in the last couple of weeks, the habit formation segment is something that I've been incredibly passionate about, and that's completely shifted my mentality, my mindset, how I perceive things, how I think about things, and also how I want to do things moving forward, right? That also includes things that maybe I've tried to pursue in the past and I decided to just forget about it, or maybe thinking that I'm just never good at something, or thinking that I just never have the capabilities or the ability to achieve a certain thing. I'm even looking at those things through a new lens because of the habit formation segment. Believe me, I'm learning as much as every single person. All right. So just to remind you, it's something that I'm incredibly passionate about. But I just also love to start off with some sort of recap as to not everything that we covered last week, especially if you're brand new, just to give you more context into how we will segue into this particular segment. All right. So the recap. Now, last week, the theme was mainly to do with forming decisive habits. If you guys were here last week, you guys would know that we spoke about forming decisive habits. All right. But if you are brand new, forming decisive habits essentially is more to do with arranging yourself in such a way that causes you to do something like the end goal. So, for example, if the end goal is essentially to end up being to run every single day consistently, you don't start by doing the end goal, or at least trying to do the end goal. You start with the end goal in mind, but knowing that there are decisive moments that will cause you, sort of like a domino effect, to get you towards that end goal eventually. That's the whole point, and that's the whole idea. The idea is not to try to chew more than you can actually swallow immediately, but it's to also pace yourself and understand that in order to get to your ultimate goal, you have to take it one step at a time. All right. I'm going to share a quick story about this week. This week, I started to run again. And I'm somebody who I would say is an avid runner. I love running. I haven't really been to the gym as often as I'd love to, especially not this year. Been incredibly busy for a number of different reasons, but jogging is something that I do very regularly. But of course, due to one reason or another, I haven't been as consistent, especially in the last, I would say maybe the last 3 months. So I started jogging again this week, and it was not a very, very long jog. It was, I would say, at maximum, maybe 15 to 20 minutes of a jog. But the first part of the jog, there's a bit of a hill. Now, it's not really a hill. It's just that the road is a bit steep. So I'm thinking, let me just run. I'm just going to jog. And, I'm just going to sprint up the hill. And then I'm going to continue the rest at a very moderate pace, right? That was my thinking. Of course, in the moment, you feel very excited, very motivated. The music that you're listening to gets you in some type of mood, right? And then after I did that hill, bear in mind that little steep road is probably maybe, I don't know, a minute, not even a minute, maybe 30 seconds of my entire run, right? After doing that, I realized that I could no longer keep at a moderate pace, even to be at a consistent pace, even to jog along with many other people that are jogging in the park around that time. And the park is very busy with a lot of people, so it kind of gets you into competition mode, right? I say that why? Because remember when I spoke about, or in fact, I'm just going to mention it. When you start something and then you stop, you don't actually stop where you left off. You actually regress a little bit, right? Just like in this particular example. If you stop something, you have to now go back, pick yourself back up to the level that you stopped before you can continue. There's some form of acknowledgement there to realize or to recognize that, at the pace that you're going, still do something. If that makes sense to every single person, do something, continue going. Even if you're not doing it as much and as consistent as you were previously, still do something. If for some reason you've taken a break from trading, right, for one reason or another, it might be you've taken too many losses and you've got discouraged. It might even be that you're just too busy. You don't even have the time to really analyze trades properly, to backtest in the way that you should be doing or the way that you want to, right? But still do something. Even if it's once a week, you check how the market has gone, right? Maybe you backtest for one day out of the week. Do something to progress your trading journey or career, or depending on where you're coming from. All right. So that was a short story, but as I continue, I just wanted to share this because I never really had too much time to share it last week. But this is it's more of an in-depth habit shaping table, which gives you an idea of the 5 different phases that it can take a person to get into some type of activity when it comes to getting from point A to B, from not knowing how to use a particular platform to knowing how to use a platform, from not being consistent to becoming consistent. So as you can see, the first phase talks more to do with building consistency. Okay, get something in place so that you can now become consistent at it. The example that's used here is when it comes to trading. If you're brand new to trading, and bear in mind, as I'm going to go through this doesn't have to be step 1 to 5 in a day, in a week. This can be a step 1 to 5 that may take a year. It might even take 5 years for some people, right? And I'm going to explain what I mean. So in terms of the action steps, what does it say? It says log into MT5 every day, identify the currency pair, the asset that you'll be focusing on, spend a few minutes to analyze its movements, and no trades are required yet. Another way to look at it is if you don't even know what gold is, you want to trade gold, and you don't even know what it looks like on a platform. I've seen people in the past when they start to get receive some signals, or they start to get some trade ideas from individuals that are maybe helping them along their trading career, or maybe they just want to make some extra money. They go into the platform, they go to XAGUSD, for example, thinking that it was XAUUSD. Because of that small mistake, it builds error, right? Because sometimes these things are either aren't clarified properly in the beginning, or maybe they just haven't spent the time to understand how things look. Or maybe they were told, but there's a bit of confusion because it looks the same, right? XAGUSD, XAUUSD. That's just an example. It could be anything else. It could be any other trading asset, right? But the whole purpose and the whole point is to get familiar with the platform so you can build consistency. If a trade idea was to now come in, you get to a point where, okay, cool. The trade idea has come in. What is the asset? Okay, what am I buying? What am I selling? What is the take profit? What is the stop loss? And then, this should basically take me straight away. I go into the application. I know exactly what I'm doing. I am not confused at all as to what this platform is and how it works. Okay. And then the second phase is setting boundaries, learning about risk management. Okay, having a fixed amount of risk. An example is 1 to 2%. It might even be 0.5%. If anybody goes around as a new beginner, or maybe in a year risking 10%, then you're probably doing it wrong. You're probably either following the wrong person, or at least you're being stubborn and not really following what you should be doing. But essentially, it's to establish the right thinking so that you can risk the right amount when it comes to trading. Then the third thing, or the third phase, is to build a level of emotional control. You now trade because now you're in a season where you're learning how to you're learning more about the markets, in depth about the markets. It might be I'm learning about the economical factor of it. It might be I'm learning a specific type of strategy that will cause me to understand what I'm doing. I'm not focused about the goal right now. I'm not focused about an ICT strategy. I'm not focused about a smart money concept strategy. I'm not focused about a particular concept in trading. Okay, I'm more focused about, okay, great. If this is what I'm focusing on, but I'm not focused necessarily about the reward of what that can bring, this particular strategy that can bring. Hopefully that makes sense. Then the fourth part focuses more on strengthening the strategy through discipline. Okay, you continue to use that strategy, and now you're placing setups. All right, as it says here, so continue trading with a set time. Now you have a set time that you're trading. You have more of a routine. Okay, so that I don't spend too much time on this. The last part talks about mastering discipline. Like I said, I've gone through this as if it's very easy, step 1 to 5, but this can take time. Exactly like how if you were supposed to be jogging for a marathon, you wouldn't just go and do a 5K straight away. Now, good for you. But then as you continue to progress, your pace might be slower. But then your goal might be to run a marathon in a specific set of times, in a set time. All right. Hopefully this makes sense. And this is the reason why I shared with you that example of running, because obviously it speaks more to myself of making sure that you go through the phases. All right. But God willing, of course, I'll become more consistent, and hopefully you guys can become more consistent as well. All right. So let's go more into today's topic. So, as you guys already know, I love to share more of like a quote before I go into the rest of the subject. But until you make unconscious conscious, let me say that one more time. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So have you heard some of these people that say, well, that's just the way I am. That's just how I think. That's just my way of doing it. Right? But what we don't realize is we don't often talk about it. We don't often sit down and pause. Why do I say the things that I say? Why do I think the way I think? Right? What's an example that I could use? Let's just say sometimes before you ask a question, you say, sorry, but can I ask a question? Right? Yeah, it's polite. But have you really, when you're saying sorry, you're apologizing for asking a question as well. Have you really thought about why people say the things that they say, or they do the things that they do? Another quick story that happened to me this week. It's a bit of a funny one. You guys already know. You guys have exposed my life to you guys by now, so you guys should know me by now. I had this certain addiction to eating chocolates and biscuits a bit too much, right? And I made it my goal until the end of the year to make sure that I completely stop eating, well, at least for the next 60 days. I don't know what will happen after that. But until the end of the year, I am committing that I'm not eating a single cookie, a single biscuit, or anything like that. So after picking up my son from nursery with my wife, what ended up happening is I bought some groceries. As I bought the groceries, I also bought a snack for my son. And in doing so, I gave him one, and I also began to open it to give it to myself. And whilst I'm doing that, my wife says, what are you doing? What does it look like I'm doing? I'm eating. And then when I realized what I'm actually eating, I realized that, wow, this is the power of unconscious habits, right? Because it's so unconscious. I don't even know that I do it, that it just happens, right? We thank God that I didn't eat the biscuit, so I'm still on my cycle of 90 days, and God willing, I get to the end. But the point is identifying and making it obvious. Until you get to the point where you identify this thing, which is automatic, this is a habitual thing, you speak about it, then you can begin to make changes in redesigning your habits and basically pretty much your life. All right. So let us even continue. So pointing and calling. All right. This is a technique, if you will, that is quite interesting. And I'm going to be going into another page to share something with you momentarily. But pointing and calling, what's the definition? The definition here is it is a safety and awareness technique that originated in the Japanese railway system. Okay. And it's used by train operators, conductors, and other workers to reduce human error by combining visual, verbal, and physical actions. Okay, what does that look like? Just as a quick example, all right? So you're on a platform, you're maybe a civilian, you're maybe a tourist in Japan, and you'll see maybe the train conductor, the person on the platform, calling out a particular number, or maybe calling out all clear. For most people, they're thinking that's quite obvious, it's all clear, right? Maybe it's not necessarily to shout it. And then the person who's actually in the train, right, calling out a particular signal, or calling what the color is, calling what the speed limit is, right? Making what is physically obvious. Why? Because it's all about constant communication. So in other words, there's no confusion as to what they see and the actions that they are going to be taking. Just imagine if everything was in somebody's head and every single civilian walked past and, nobody ever spoke, right? Imagine the amount of accidents, incidents, maybe even fights that will happen, or maybe assumptions that you think people are thinking, or what they should do, or what is even common sense, but people just don't even speak. This is basically the whole point, right? What's the purpose of this, and why am I even sharing this with you? I'm going to share even more in just a moment. But the whole point of how it works is this: is that you point to a particular object, you point out what the object is or what the thing is, okay, and then you call it out, or you call out the action that you're about to take. All right. And what does that actually do for yourself? Well, what it actually does is it gives you something called a triple engagement. Okay. What is this triple engagement? You're focused. Okay. Your eyes are attentive to what it is that you're seeing. You're verbally communicating what it is that your intentions are. Your fine motor skills are all in activity as well. All right. So let's just give you an example right here and right now. You guys can see my screen. Just type some number ones if you guys can see my screen. I'm sure you guys hopefully can see my screen. But if you cannot, feel free to just let me know at any given time. Right. So you guys can see my screen. Hopefully you can. But this is just a chart. I'm going to share two examples here. But chart number one is just a random chart of NAS 100. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because there's what I believe maybe 3 fundamentals or 3 structures of how you should approach the markets. Okay, I'm not going to go into all the details, but number one, structure. How I equate structure is narrative. What is the narrative of what you're trading? Okay, so for example, can anybody, I'm going to continue speaking, but can anybody straight away, based on what you see, identify what's happening on this chart on NAS 100? Okay, what sort of direction are we moving in? Okay, what is the direction that we are currently moving in right now? Okay, so for the sake of time, I'm going to continue. Hopefully you guys can see that we are more so on an uptrend. Okay, perfect. You came at the right time. All right, somebody said uptrend at the right time. Perfect. So you can clearly see that we are on an uptrend. Okay, overall, I don't think there's too much confusion. Okay, you can see that the market has been going up since the 2nd of September predominantly. Now you can go further back and further back, but just simply based on what we can see as far back as the screen can provide, we can see that we are going up. This is an uptrend. Okay, this is an uptrend. This now provides the narrative of what the market is showing you currently. There is no confusion. There shouldn't be confusion. Okay, what are other factors that can also control the narrative? It's not just the chart. It can even be economical factors, geopolitical factors, things such as wars, companies that will influence the value of this particular asset that will cause it to either go down or that can go up as well. Narrative. Okay, now from the narrative we'll then move to position, or we'll then move to possible outcomes. Okay, so what does that mean, possible outcomes? It basically means that, okay, in order for me to enter this market, I will do this if this and this happens. There's a criteria. So for example, you might say that, okay, well, if the market progresses and eventually passes this level where I've marked my white level, right, then I will begin to buy. Or if the market breaks this particular level, I will then begin to sell. This is just an overall. I haven't gone to the final part, which is more the technical stuff, right? So just generally, you have the structure, which is the narrative, and then you have the possible outcomes, which is more the scenarios. You're creating scenarios as to based on this will happen, and then I'll enter a buy or a sell. Okay. And then you've got the final part, which is more to do with the strategy or the entry model or the execution. Okay. What I find, and I'm very guilty of it, is that sometimes we're more focused on the strategy and the entry model rather than, first of all, yes, your entry model might seem correct. It might be very mechanical, but because we haven't focused on the narrative and also creating a definite scenario, and we haven't even defined the scenario, we tend to now focus more on the entry model. Now, it doesn't mean that the entry model is wrong. It doesn't mean that the strategy is wrong or it didn't work or it just does not work or doesn't ever work. It's just that we have failed to look at the overall narrative based on our habits, right? We have the habits and the tendencies to just go on the chart, or we think that gold is going to go up based on, let's just say you're on a lower time frame, right? You haven't looked at the narrative. You can clearly see here that, okay, well, I can see that right now the market has done a very big candle, a very big buy candle or a bullish candle, okay? And there's not many candles here. There's a sell candle here, but just generally speaking, I'm going to go for a buy. Or let's just say at the time of this this chart, you can see that the chart is trending downwards. Now you can see here that we are on a quote unquote downtrend, right? That's what you'll probably say based on how the market is ranging here, right? So you might think, okay, yeah, we're definitely going bearish. We're definitely on a downtrend. You haven't looked at the narrative, but this is definitely a downtrend. Does that make sense? Right? And somebody here is saying a range bound or ranging, which is incredible. That's perfect. Why? Because we haven't checked the narrative of where we are, we don't even know whether we're going up or going down, or we're in a downtrend. In fact, the most important part is the entry model should not be the most important part as your first point of trade. Hopefully this is making sense to somebody, right? So the whole idea is that we sometimes have the tendency to want to enter trade based on how the momentum looks in that particular segment, in that particular moment. How does this even relate to anything I'm talking about when it comes to pointing and calling? Your favorite Instagram influencer or Instagram trader, I'm sure you've probably seen many, many different videos, and even you probably do it yourself, right? Is pointing and calling, making it obvious. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of pointing and calling. Because we think sometimes it's up here, it's in our head. We have the experience. I've got skin in the game. Pride gets in. And then when pride gets in, you often don't see that, oh, it's not necessarily you that's gifted. Sometimes you might have been lucky. Sometimes there might be a couple of weeks where you might have been lucky because, let's just say, every time there's a retest, the market continues to bounce up for a number of weeks. And then all of a sudden, your strategy is pointless anymore because it doesn't work. Simply because you have not checked the overall picture and the narrative of it. So the whole idea of why I'm trying to say this is this. We're talking here about pointing and calling, okay? Pointing and calling. Yes, overall, we are in a bullish trend. Oftentimes you'll see people say, okay, we're currently in a bullish trend. We've been trending for some time. And then as you can see, the market came here once upon a time, or it came here last Friday, the 10th of October. And then we have the massive drop. That could have been something to do with the news that caused the market to tank that aggressively. But since then, we are currently in a range, right? And this has caused us to potentially maybe not want to take a trade. However, in the example that I gave you before, if the market was to pursue over this level, I may consider taking a buy if the market does X, Y, and Z based on my entry model. The same thing occurs if I'm looking for a sell. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So this is the whole purpose, and this is the point of what I'm trying to mention. It's about calling out the obvious things, and then you go even further to your trading plan, which every single person should have, because you obviously have your trading plan. Most people don't look at their trading plan until they refer back to it, and then they realize this is so basic. How did I miss this? Right? That's the whole point of pointing and calling, making it obvious to the naked eye. Why? Because every single day that you have a winning streak, just be careful, because then pride gets involved, and then you get to a point where you believe you are better than the market. So you believe you have an edge in the markets. Now, yes, you may have a consistent edge, right? But you'll be a fool to continue trading every single day thinking that, okay, well, I know it all. I don't need to refer back to it. That's why what I've seen anyway, some of the interviews that I've been listening to, the traders that I know, although they are consistent at trading, they have a systematic way of thinking. They have a process as to what they do. It might not necessarily be an entry model, but it might be just a method of thinking, a way of thinking that is consistent to them, the fundamentals that they need to look at, the things they need to read every single time before they get into the markets. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. So here's something else I wanted to share with you. This is just an example of a trade. What day is it today? The 18th. So yeah, it would have been this week. This is a trade that I took this week on gold, but it's not necessarily to show you the trade. It's to show you the thinking behind the habits that I'm really referring to, the pointing and the calling. So I'm just going to swap my screen again. So as you can see here, first of all, you guys have heard me for a number of weeks. And if you are brand new, I'm not somebody who more so is, I don't necessarily trade gold too well. but I am confident in other currency pairs. But this week I decided to trade gold, right? And as you can see here, it says, this is my first time trading gold independently in a very long time. Currently, we are in a strong bullish trend, waiting for a clear retracement after a breakout, okay? I'm making it obvious. I can see what the market is doing, but I'm also making it obvious even to myself, okay? Right, what does it say here? It says, the trade that I'm about to take is more of a set and forget trade. I'm normally more into an intercession person, or scalper, as some people may describe it. But I decided, okay, maybe let me try something a bit more long-term, just maybe because my lifestyle has kind of shifted a little bit, okay? Because also I've been quite busy as well, right? And then to test my patience, also trial out a longer term way of trading is what I actually should have said. Okay, let's see how this plays out in a few hours. Around that time, it was actually quite late, and I actually went to sleep for a couple of hours. I came back, and this is the comment that I made. Now, this is more of a review. It basically talks about how I was quite surprised at myself, at the fact that I was confidently able to walk away and just more so just focus on myself. And when I came back, I saw how, you know, the market had done what it did. So just to give you an example of what that looks like over here, this was my setup, and this was the take profit outcome on that exact same very day, as you guys can see over here. So why am I sharing this with you? Is because pointing and calling, I'm making it obvious to myself what I can currently see on the market. Okay, just like with any habit that we have, sometimes we think that we have it all at the back of our mind, and honestly speaking, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that from moment to moment. But at some point, we also have to accept that the people who are the most successful, right, they don't necessarily just rely on themselves alone. They also know that they have a system and a process that they're kind of married to, that they keep on referring back to as often as possible. Sometimes you might have an educator or a person that you're, you know, learning from in the trading space, right? You've seen they don't necessarily always just place a trade. They explain what it is that they are doing before they do it, hopefully to help you or to help the person. Even if you're somebody who's independent, you might even be a person helping somebody else, right? You're actually referring to your screen and thinking, okay, we have this, that, and the other. In other words, what I'm saying here is, it's basically the comparison between the average person who thinks they can just do it and wing it all the time, in comparison to a professional, somebody who decided to become a professional at this game of trading, of this profession of trading, right? There's a systematic way of thinking. There's a way they have to do things every single day. All right. So just to kind of round off, this is what I want to share. That is from awareness to automation. Why is that so important? Because from awareness to automation, it basically speaks of a person who is aware of their current state of mind. They're aware of their habits. They're aware that there's something that they currently have which they don't like, and they want to change that behavior to go from somebody who's doing one sort of habit to making it into a positive habit. All right. Here's an example. Entering a trade. When you're entering a trade, you're looking at the chart, and then you see a setup, and then you call the setup. You call the set. Okay, currently this is what I'm seeing. If the market goes here, this is what I'm going to do. However, if the market goes here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm only going to risk 1%. You know that in your trading plan, you're not supposed to risk more than 1%. So now the moment you risk 2 or even 3%, and sometimes it might be that, you know, I'm going to take the risk. I've got a gut feeling that the market's going to go here. Then that's fine, right? However, you will now know that I've made the profit great, but you, in your deep down, you'll know that you won't feel so great about the way you made money in just that particular moment, right? Because you didn't follow your rules, and you know that it was quite a risky move. I've heard many people say, well, I made £5,000, right? I heard an interview this week, right? And the person basically said that they made £5,000. The other person made something similar. They were excited, but the person who initiated the trade in the first place, they weren't excited, because on a normal day, they made the money, but on a normal day, that's not the amount of money they would have risked. If it went the other way, they would not have been in such a great mood. And so that mindset is what carried him, knowing that I've risked too much. Although I've made profit, it was not a great feeling. And I've had that myself. I've made money knowing that actually this is not sustainable if I keep risking more than I should be risking, if that makes sense. All right. And of course, when you feel the urge to over leverage, the same way that you're supposed to call out a good trade, call out the bad trade. You might not call it a bad trade in that moment, but call out exactly what you're doing. I'm about to risk 2% on this particular trade, right? You will then realize, oh, if you lose that particular trade, what you've actually done. And you'll go back on yourself and maybe start to wonder, or maybe just start to analyze what caused you to get to that point of risking more in that particular moment. So the whole idea is awareness. Once you go from awareness, you then transition into a place of automation through calling out the habits or the bad habits, and then a process of redesigning those habits. And then from redesigning those habits, you put those habits into practice, you make it obvious, and then you go into automation. This is the whole point of habit formation. You're forming decisive moments and you're creating consistent habits that will cause you to become profitable, as well as in every other area of your life as well. Okay, I've listed here 4 laws of behavioral change. Number 1, make it obvious. Make it obvious. Okay, make a visible checklist. Have a trading plan that you can see every single day. Even if you need to refer to it for just a few seconds, just make sure you've had a check of it so you know exactly you're not being delusional, you're not being confused. So therefore, when you check the chart, for example, if you know that it's a bit confusing or it's ranging or it's supposed to be going here and it's just not very clear, that's your opportunity to stay away. So make it obvious. Number 2, make it attractive. Okay, I know Cliff spoke about this last week on the masterclass. Okay, you need to associate some type of reward, right? So that it makes you even motivated to continue this particular habit. Okay, everything else has an automatic reward. But when it comes to trading, we think, okay, when I get to 100K, then I will withdraw, right? But what about if you just withdraw something small just to build your belief? Okay, once I finish this trade, I'm going to withdraw. That's just one example. Number 3, make it easy. Okay, automate your risk control. Only risking 1%. Okay, maybe set alerts for when it goes to a specific area. Set a stop loss. Last but not least, make it satisfying. Whenever you see what you did previously in that particular trade, just like what I show you with gold, right? I was shocked at myself. I've never traded gold. I've never traded that amount of pips before, right? Quite scary. But in that particular moment, the thing that I learned about myself is, okay, this is a new style of trading, new habits. This might require me to be very patient to learn more about myself, right? It might require me to walk away for a couple of hours and see what will happen. And then maybe I might even just adapt to a new way of trading for myself, all right? The whole idea is this. You point it out, okay? You're directing your focus. You're directing your focus on that particular thing. What does that do? It creates verbal awareness, okay? In our minds, it might be obvious to us, but when you're reading out loud a book, for example, you can see that sometimes it makes it clear what you're seeing, what you're reading. It happens to me all the time, okay? And last but not least, the result, it raises your self-awareness and also reduces error. Because sometimes you can go over sometimes the most silliest and simplest of things. You think this is so easy, but sometimes if you don't go over it for a number of reasons, maybe you're tired in that moment, maybe you're angry in that particular moment, so you have a shared conscience. Maybe you shouldn't be trading in that particular moment. Maybe you're busy, you're just really busy focusing on something else, and in that moment it might not necessarily be a time of trading, or maybe you even got distracted whilst you were on your session. The whole point is making it obvious. Pointing and calling is the behavioral skill that I've been discussing today, right? So maybe a task for you to do is make sure that when you're going on the chart, right? I'm not saying go and copy your favorite influencer, but the whole point of this is make yourself aware of what's currently existing on the market, okay? Just like even when you're going for a jog, you said, oh, you know what? I did say I was going to jog on Saturday morning, but you haven't gone. It's already 7 o'clock, nearly it's 10 minutes to 7, but you haven't gone for a jog. Okay, so what's stopping you? So make it obvious that, oh, tomorrow I'm going to go for a jog. The moment you wake up, you remind yourself, or maybe set a reminder for yourself that I need to go for a jog in the morning, right? And then you verbalize it. You say, okay, I need to get up and go for a jog. You need to go and get ready. You're reminding yourself. This is like the beginning stage. And the more you can continue doing so, the more things become obvious and more obvious when it comes to how you are processing things. All right. So this is my segment done. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As I always suggest, really take the time to go back over this segment. I do hope and expect all of you, if not the majority of you, to really take the time to study exactly what it is that we are saying and even try it for yourself. All right. Remember, we are talking about trading psychology, but believe me, if you begin to apply a lot of these things that we are talking about into your personal life, right? I know I'm a gym fanatic and somebody who loves jogging, so I'm always going to reference jogging as well, right? But believe me, try a lot of the things, especially the pointing and calling, right, into your daily routine, and God willing, you're going to also see a change. All right. So with that being said, I love you all, and I'll see you next time on the habit formation segment of the TP Masterclass. God bless and peace out. Bye-bye.
It's a mind game. You heard me. Trading is a mind game. Fix your mind, fix your trading. Fix your mind, fix your trading. It's a mind game. You heard me. Trading is a mind game. Fix your mind, fix your trading. Fix your mind, fix your trading.
Hi, my name is Keerti Soni, and Clipser, I have written this testimonial with all my hearts, and it reflects my emotions, my journey, and I will be reading it with deep respect and gratitude. And I have been under Clipser's guidance for 1 year now, and if I look myself years ago, I was full of self-doubt, low confidence, and hopelessness. Life was stuck in a place where giving up was not even an option. I had no hope and no belief in myself. I used to work hard, but not with a winning mindset. I was a mindset filled with fear, pain, hopelessness, and drain emotions. Even when something good happened, a thought would come to my mind that it only came to break my heart and break my hope. I used to think, how can I ever be happy? My subconscious mind had been stuck in this pattern for years. I had read technicals and mindset book, but everything felt like just an abstract concept for me. But when Cliffsir came into my life, I started watching Masterclass and got his support. Everything begins to change. Now, even if a negative thoughts come for a second, Clipser's words start echoing in my mind, my ear, that word have power. Word have power, and if I speak something negative about myself, my subconscious will accept it as a programming and turn it into my reality. When I feel something negative, something low, then I immediately start watching Clipser's mindset class, and it will help me stay balanced even in negative situations. Now I started dreaming again and believing in myself, and that's only because of Clipser guidance. He made me realize that it's my own belief and thoughts that were keeping me stuck. He also taught me that the law and principle of nature shapes our life. Even if we ignore them, they still impact us. Sir also told me that trading is spiritual because it teaches you how to deal with your own pain and face yourself. Thank you, sir. Your teaching is not just changing my trading, it's changing my life also.
It's a mind game. You heard me. Trading is a mind game. Fix your mind, fix your trading. Fix your mind, fix your trading. It's a mind game. You heard me. Trading is a mind game. Fix your mind, fix your trading. Fix your mind, fix your trading.
All right. Good evening, everyone. If you can hear me loud and clear, just drop some number ones in the chat for me, please. If you can hear me loud and clear, just drop some number ones in the chat for me. Today, I'm going to be teaching something very, very, very dear to my heart, to the community, and I really want to go straight to the point. This information you guys are going to be learning today, both the title and the concept of it wasn't clear in structure until a few weeks ago. But I've always understood that was the reason why I was doing the things I was doing. And that is the main reason why people do the same things they say they would do, and it's what lead people to success. But people have not realized it yet. And so I'm going to be very fast with our announcement. In fact, you know what? For the sake of this lesson today, I will push all the announcements for the up and coming things about the community to the end, because I really want us to learn something very powerful today. And I really want you to focus wherever you are right now. You know, you cannot come on to this masterclass and for what, 2 hours, 1 hour, 40 minutes, or whatever, you are just going to be wasting your time. I will not waste yours, so don't waste your own time. Wherever you are right now, I want you to declare to yourself that the eyes of your understanding is being enlightened. The eyes of your understanding being enlightened. I really want you to focus. There are times that I come on to this masterclass, and as you have realized, there are several categories of information that I give on this masterclass. One of them is psychological, neuroscientific information, things that involve science. I teach that here. There are laws I teach, and there are spiritual patterns I teach. Today's own is a mixture of both the neuroscientific structure mixed with psychological knowledge that will transform your life if you pay attention. So it doesn't matter wherever you are, whether you're Instagram or Facebook or YouTube right now and you're listening to me, the opportunity to just say hello to everyone one by one. But if you are hearing me, I want to thank you for being on to this masterclass today. I really want you to focus. So in the next couple of few minutes, I want you to declare to yourself that the eyes of my understanding being enlightened, that I will not leave this masterclass the same way again. I will not leave this masterclass the same way you came. You will not leave the same way you came. It will be very impossible for you to contact an information that will do something to your mind and leave the same way again. It's impossible. You see, I always tell people that picture knowledge this way, okay? Picture knowledge this way. Let's say you have two people. Let me pick this person here. And let me pick this person here. And let me pick this laptop as the third person. Watch this. These two people, they are friends with this person, which is the laptop. Now, they were all in the same room and they were having a conversation. And this person left. He decided to go home, and it was remaining these two people in the room. Now, these two people didn't know that person C was coming back to pick up something he forgot in the room. And so this person almost got to the door, and then he heard these two people talking about him, this person. And they were saying, this person's head is big. Now, it doesn't matter whatever conversation they all were having together before he heard that my head is big part. Now, these two people don't know that this person heard. Now, imagine as soon as this person heard that they were laughing at him, then after he heard everything, he entered into the room. And these two people went straight ahead and said, wow, man, I appreciate you. We appreciate you, man. We are glad you are back. We don't even know why you were leaving. They start saying nice things about this guy. There is no amount of words these two will say that will change the mind of this person about how he knows they feel about him. That is what we call truth. When truth enters your mind, it shuts down everything that can hold you back. You see, it is easy for them all to be in the same room, person A, person B, and person C, for them to tell person C that we appreciate you, and he may believe it. Even if he's having doubts, he will believe it a little bit. But the moment he heard it, the way he heard it, there is nothing these two can say again that can change this person's mind. You see, there is a level of information when you receive in your life, nothing can change your mind again. And that is how knowledge is like. Knowledge that comes with the truth can do something to your mind. So when people sometimes say, Cliff, how do you transform your mind? One of the components is knowledge. And many times people ask me, Cliff, if you say transform your mind, mindset, what do you mean? They hear me. They don't just know what I mean by transform your mind. How do they do it? Because mindset is not an object. If you tell me to change this book, I just need to take this book from there and put another book here. It's as simple as that. But if you say change your mindset, what does that mean? So a lot of people cannot really pinpoint that changing mindset conversation. So is it by listening to motivational talks? Is it by only coming on to TP Masterclass? Is it by thinking positive? Is it by telling yourself that your mindset is changing? What really changes mind? This is not my topic for today, but I believe somebody needs to hear this before we go into my topic. You see, when we say transform your mind, mindset is a state. Please write it down. Mindset is a state. It's not an object. It's a state of an individual being. The way that your behavior, your emotions, your actions, the way it is able to reflect for us to see the way your mindset is. And to be able to change your mindset is a matter of the things you do repeatedly. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. It doesn't matter. You know, when I was sitting down here and I was just watching the testimony of Kirti from India, I remember how far she has come. Some of you guys may not understand her testimony. You know, when I met her, she actually messaged me on Instagram, and then I decided to just go on a call with her to listen to her problem. And when I met her for the first time, she was always sad. And I gave her a 14 days program to just differentiate it. We documented every single thing. I've just not gotten the chance to share with the TP family members to learn from it, but we documented everything. And while I'm listening to her testimony, there are several things she said, and I said, correct. This girl's mindset is growing. You see, mindset is a state whereby you do something, it doesn't matter. That means the movies you are watching eventually will create a mindset. The music you listen to eventually will create a mindset. The environment you are in eventually will create a mindset. Mindset is a state. When they say something is a state, do you understand what that means? Let me explain. The state of something means if I put a cold water on fire, just give it time. If the fire is still under the pot, eventually that water must be hot. States. Are you guys with me? If you put a warm water in the refrigerator, eventually the state of the water must change. So you were asking me, Cliff, how do I change my mindset? It is not about picking this book and throwing it away, or picking or going onto Instagram or going onto YouTube and watching a powerful masterclass or like TP masterclass like this today, and then that is it. No, you must do something. You must do something repeatedly in the right environment in order for you to reach a certain state that we can say this is your mindset. So a lot of people sometimes are confused. Cliff, what do I do? It is not about what you do today. It's about what you do from now. From now. That means your environment. You have heard this before, and it is true. The 4 people you hang out with, you become the 5th one. You become the 5th one. It means an environment plays a role in your mindset. That means you don't need to tell me you are wise. I just need to know your environment structure, and I need to see the things around you. Eventually, it will show. You can't pretend to have the right mind. Right now, you can come on to this. Let's say if you move into my house and click. I was telling some people something this, and I want to share this a little bit. Last week, masterclass, it is either I am in the studio or I am in my home studio, whichever way. But this time around, I was doing the masterclass from my home studio, my actual home studio, like what you guys are seeing now. And when I was going to the masterclass, the last two ones, yes, as a trader think it. And when I was coming to this masterclass, I wanted to wear a suit. So if you watch the masterclass, I was wearing a suit. And when I was wearing the suit, I know I'm going to be shooting from here, right? And so the chances are excellent, even if I'm wearing just shorts and the suit. I mean, what you will see is just the suit, right? And it will look like, wow, this guy is looking classic. But maybe if you look down, I'm wearing probably shorts with a suit. Let me just say, people do that a lot on Zoom calls and whatever. But then I wore the suit and I wore the trousers and I put on my shoes and I had my watch. And the first thought that came was, but you are just going to do a masterclass. Why are you dressing like you are going all the way to the other studio? But my mindset cannot permit me. It can't. I have to dress complete. And I was laughing at myself. It was funny to me because I was like, man, you are taking this too serious. It's not like that. It's just that I have reached a point of a state that I cannot go on to the masterclass without dressing completely. In my mind, I have a feeling. What if the camera falls and it drops and then my shoe is showing and it's not a shoe and it's, let's say, a boxer shorts, quote unquote. Some of you guys will be like, oh, it's normal, but your mind will never forget that scene that you saw. So for me, because of my state of mind currently right now, I cannot do that. If it was many years ago, maybe my mindset would have accepted and say, but you're going into this studio, it's okay. You don't have to dress all complete. Are you guys with me? Mindset is a state. It's a state. And when you reach that state, it is clear. The reflection will be clear. So Cliff, how do I transform my mind? It is the things you do repeatedly. The movies you watch, the music you listen to, the books you read, the things you tell yourself repeatedly. These are the little things that you do repeatedly. And eventually, like the fire, you put an egg on fire. Eventually, when you look at the state of the egg, it changes. You don't need to pray over the egg and say egg becomes solid. Just put it on fire. It will become solid. It's a law. Same thing with your mindset. Do something over and over and over again, like putting yourself on fire. Eventually, you will change in states. The environment. These are the things. So you watch the things you watch. You watch the things you listen to. If you want to build capacity as a Christian, maybe you want to pray, it is by repeatedly doing it over and over and over again, whether you feel it or not feeling it. That is the concept. So if you are here and you're asking me, Cliff, you say mindset, how do I change it? You don't change it by magic. You don't change it by just basically wishing or desiring. You change it by the things you do in the right atmosphere over and over again. I'm going to repeat it again. How do you change your mindset? It's by the things you do, the things you see, the things you are involved with in that environment over and over again. Eventually, like the fire, your state will change. All right. If you guys are learning something, this is just a teaser of something, a question that I've been getting. And I said, let me just try to clarify something. Let me try. So the you now, you can start and say, you know what? I'm going to change my routine. And when you do that over and over again, you will start to see your mindset changing. Now, I've explained this before, that when you are trying to change your mindset, you need to have grace on yourself. You need to understand you just started. Some of you guys right now, you realize this year is the year you need money and you were serious. Life will not just brush everything you have been doing from 2012 or from whatever time, and just because you need money now, life must bend down to you and say, take the money. It doesn't work like that, Chief. You are now about to position yourself to attract the things you deserve. Are you with me? So wherever that you are right now, Cliff, so what about me that I am doing this and I don't feel like it anymore? Just keep on doing it over and over again. Eventually it will happen. And if it's a habit and you are struggling with the routine, I've told you this, you can't force to follow a routine without turning it into a habit. And you can never form a habit without going through the three-dimensional loop: cue, the action, and the reward. You can't take the reward out and build a habit. And when you are building a habit, you should know it will be stored in your subconscious mind, the autopilot part of your brain, the subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, it doesn't believe you. Anything that you are doing right now, it doesn't believe you. It is easy for you to start a motivational project, but you won't finish it if your subconscious mind is not the person that needs to finish the project. You can't. And so your subconscious mind right now doesn't believe you. You are going to become a multi-millionaire if you have never been one before. So in the beginning, it won't believe you. But that is where you gotta push through. Because your goal is to rewire the subconscious mind for your attitude to become an autopilot in the area of a successful person. Eventually, you will attract. It's a law. So whether you are a trader or whatever you are, maybe this year is the year you decided to be a trader. Your mindset currently right now is everything opposite to who a trader is meant to be. Chief, it's not going to work like that. Even if you make money today, what about the next week? What about the following week? What about the next month? Eventually, it is either you will do something somehow, and either you will lose all the profit or something will happen, because naturally in your mind, you are basically saying, oh my God, can I even do this again? That can I even do this again is a state of a mindset. Okay. I'm going to start building the foundation for my masterclass topic today. As I said today, I want you guys to pay attention very well. Pay attention. Pay attention. You are going to learn a lot. Pay attention. Please. Please. Let me start building the foundation. Let me pull up my notes and start building the foundation of today's masterclass. Last two masterclasses, I taught you guys on a topic I titled as a trader thinketh. And we borrowed it from the concept, as a man thinketh, so is he. Now, you understood that your mind is a soil, and the thoughts and the things you hear and those words, they are the seeds. And we are able to explain that your brain has many neurons, in other words, many farmers, and there are a lot. And so the things you hear, they start to be planted in your mind. And you may have heard me saying this, that watch this, that whether you like it or not, if you plant a poisonous tree, the soil will not say, hey, it's a poisonous tree, so therefore the soil will reject its growth. No, the soil will grow the plant anyways. The same thing with your mind. Whether what you are thinking is healthy or not, your mind will grow the thing. And so I want you to stay with me. I want to start my conversation today. Remember, I will introduce my topic soon, but just pay attention. I want to take you guys through some couple of few things. You see, when we say think positive or think, or your mind, the thinking, the mindset, you need to understand that there are several ways that a human being you think. And there are several ways you should think, and there are several ways you are going to think. The first one I wrote down here, that if your thoughts are soldiers, then your mindset is the army. Watch this. The first, I call this the department of thinking. Let's call it like that. The department of thinking. I'm going to give you several thinking departments that exist in a man's life, but they don't realize it. Now, there are some of them that comes out naturally, and there are some of them that you have to be intentional about it. We need this foundation for me to introduce my topic for this masterclass. The first department is called the visual thinking. I call that the power of seeing. The visual thinking, the power of seeing. It doesn't matter. As a trader, as a doctor, as a mother, as a nurse, whatever that you are, you have the power to see. You have the power to see. When it comes to the visual thinking, it is the part where imagination lives. You see, imagination is a powerful component part of your becoming. You can never become something that you have not seen. It's impossible. You can never become that. You can never become something that you don't see. And so imagination is powerful. Now, the power of seeing, or what I call the visual thinking, the first department is called the visual thinking. It is where vision board. So if you see somebody saying, I want to create my vision board, that's part of the thinking is coming from the person's visual thinking department. The ability to visualize the things you want in your life before it comes into being. There are people when they're about to travel for the first time, there is a way they will visualize the way that the country they are going in will look like. And so sometimes like, the way I thought it would be is not the way it is. Why? Because in your imagination, you thought about something. The power of seeing. So that is where vision board, you dreaming, visualization, being able to be emotionally connected to something that you have not even seen. This is where it lies. This is the same place that if you are addicted to anything related to any adult content, if you are addicted to any adult content, this is the kind of department that is hijacked, your visual thinking department. This is it. This is not what I'm talking about today, but just to bring some clarity on something for you to understand. There is a department in your mind called the visual thinking. It's the power of seeing. It is where your eye is responsible for. Are you with me? So that's the first department. The second department is called the declarative thinking, the power of speaking. The power of speaking. You just don't speak out of thin air. It came out of a thought. It came out of a thought. So declarative thinking is also another dimension or a department of thinking. That is where the self-talk and then the declarations and things exist. Are you with me? So the brain will record your own voice, and that is what it remembers the most. You may have heard other people sometimes say, because I was teaching other people Forex, because I was teaching other people this material, it is stuck in my mind well. It's not that it's stuck in your mind well. It's because your mind hears your own voice and records it faster. That is why it is very important that as a human being, you can't keep quiet when it comes to your becoming. Because if other people are saying you are a failure 100 times, you must say that you are great 500. Did you hear what I just said? If you have been hearing that you were a failure 100 times by people, you need to tell yourself you are great 500 times. Because when you are able to tell yourself you are great, it will overshadow any nonsense somebody told you when you were growing up. Every nonsense. It doesn't matter. But then if you keep quiet and you let those thoughts build fortification in your mind, eventually you will add up to that thought. So the reason why your mind is very powerful, is because at the end of the day, your mind is the kind of mindset that hears your own voice and it records it faster. So today you are here and you are like, man, anytime I teach people how to trade, I remember, I learn more. It's because your mind is now listening to you. That is why you have heard me saying this. Everything you hear on this masterclass, go and reflect. Go and reflect, because if your mind doesn't hear your own voice, it will not believe the things Cliff Cheqona is saying to you. So it doesn't matter even if it enters your heart, it will never change your life until you yourself, you tell yourself this is the truth. Declarative thinking, the power of speaking. Are you guys with me? The power of speaking. Are you guys with me? The power of speaking. So that is the second department of thinking. Then the third department is what I call the goal-oriented thinking. The goal-oriented thinking. The goal-oriented thinking. The power of direction. The power of direction. The goal-oriented thinking is the part of department in your mind that is responsible for logic. So let's say somebody start to visualize, oh my God, I'm going to be a millionaire in my family. We believe you because you deserve it to also be a millionaire. Then now, after you are visualizing and you are writing all the vision board, there is a part of you that declares every morning, I am great, I am a millionaire. Yes, we believe you. But you will remain defeated and delusional if the things you saw and the things you said doesn't end up in logic. Meaning, you have to now sit down and say, yes, I am a millionaire. But the first question you need to ask yourself is, where do I start from? That is where now you break things down and say, okay, I am now thinking, I only have $50 for now. Okay, if I give myself 5 years and I work on XYZ, by the time that I will reach this level and that level, something can happen to my life. Goal-oriented thinking. So there is no problem with you visualizing. In fact, you need to visualize. There is no problem with you declaring. In fact, you need to talk because your brain needs to hear your own voice. And then you need to also sit down and be realistic with where you should start from. Oh yeah, I'm going to be a successful forex trader. I believe you, Chief. I believe you. But how much do you have? All I have is $100. Okay, before we think about the Lamborghini, let's start thinking about how you can solve your bread problem first. Goal-oriented thinking. Responsible for planning, strategy, structure, and execution. Planning, strategy, structure, and execution. This is what makes you stay focused. It makes you focus on the objective. Are you with me? So the first department, what did I say? It's called what? We have what we call the visual thinking department, the power of seeing. Second, declarative thinking, the power of speaking. Goal-oriented thinking, the power of direction. If you don't sit down to think about your goals and plan, strategize, you will not become logical. If you're not logical, eventually the declaration and the visualization won't end up anywhere. So the third department is goal-oriented thinking. What about the fourth department? I call that the reflective thinking, the power of evaluation. The reflective thinking, the power of evaluation. This is where you need to be able to understand that, okay, I said I was going to be a trader, and for the past 6 months, I have been a trader, or I am being a trader. I am trading, I am losing money here, so on and so forth. You are now talking to yourself, you are reflecting. Because when you don't reflect on what you call a mistake, you will not know what it takes to go to the next level. It is a law. That as a human being, you need to have time for yourself to reflect. So if you find somebody saying, I don't know why I am blowing an account, as a TP family member, don't just say, oh, why don't you know? Well, ask them questions that, okay, do you reflect on the things the mistakes that you are making? What do you mean reflect? I mean, do you go through your journal? I mean, yeah, I journal my trades. Yeah, that is good. To journal your A setup, your B setup is all great. But what about your mood? What about your behavior pattern? Do you journal that? Do I have to? Yes, you have to. Because in trading, it's all about patterns. Because if you sit down and you now start to analyze your journaling, you will know that by Monday, Tuesday, I'm always making mistakes. Therefore, I need to check what the problem is. Reflective thinking. The power of evaluation. When you don't analyze your mistakes, you can never switch it up. So there is a part of your thinking that must be dedicated to evaluation. That is where what happens? You bring yourself into an awareness, and then that is where emotional intelligence grows. You can never become emotionally intelligent when you don't reflect. So it connects your experiences to your growth. And then what else I wrote down here? It helps you to make meaning out of your mistakes. Does that make sense, guys? Good. Now, the last department I want to give you is what I call the power of rejection. The power of rejection. The power of rejection. I call that the anti-mindset thinking. The anti-mindset, ANTI-mindset thinking. The anti-mindset thinking, ANTI-mindset thinking. That is the last department I want to give it to you today. It's called the power of rejection. Watch this. This department is the least understood department, but one of the most powerful one that can shape your life. But people underestimate this. I will explain to you. It is a part of the thinking that says, I refuse. I refuse. I will not do this anymore. No, not again. This is another part of the mindset. It's called the anti-mindset thinking, the power of rejection. Now that you have every single thing in your concept now, I want you to see this. You need to be able to understand that to be able to see the purpose of that is inspiration. Anything that you see, the purpose of it while you are seeing it is to inspire you. So there is a way that I could have closed my video and you may not see me, and it is going to be very difficult for you to be inspired about anything that I'm saying now because visuals are very powerful. So visualization, part of thinking, the purpose of that is to inspire you. Then the declarative part, the purpose of that is identity. Because what shapes identity is words. Words are very powerful. They shape identity. That is why it's very important you don't just allow anybody to speak anyhow around you. No, chief. You cannot speak anyhow around people, and people shouldn't speak anyhow around you, because words are very powerful. They shape an identity. So the purpose of visual is to let you be inspired. The purpose of declaration or the declarative thinking is to form an identity. Then the goal-oriented, which is to plan, is to give you direction. So if you see somebody saying, Cliff, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing, what they are lacking is planning. What they are lacking is goal-oriented thinking. There is no structure to their doing. Then when you pick up the reflective part, the power of evaluation, what you are doing is that you want to grow. So anytime you find somebody not growing in any area of their life, they don't reflect. They don't reflect. That means they don't sit down to say, man, I've been doing. One few weeks ago, myself and the TP Masterclass producer, we were on a call together, and we were watching all the masterclasses we have done, and we were laughing and gisting and being like, oh, I remember this episode, we did this, we did that. It made me grateful. It made me started to laugh at certain things. As okay, we'll do this, we'll do that. The power of evaluation. If you don't reflect, you won't grow. So right now you are asking, Cliff, why am I not growing in some certain areas? That area is lacking reflection. Are you with me? And then the last one, which is the anti-mindset, the purpose of that is discipline. So if you are here and you are wondering, Cliff, why is it that I can't be disciplined? I already explained to you a few weeks back or months back, we spoke about routine and discipline in our masterclass. And I said, discipline is you staying loyal to the decision that you made. But then you cannot be disciplined without a conviction. You remember that? I told you that you can never be disciplined without conviction. What I was trying to basically say to you is that you can pick up person A and person B. This guy is always going to the gym. This guy doesn't want to go to the gym. 2-3 months later, they told this guy, if you don't go to the gym, you will die. This guy will now go to the gym more than this guy, not because this guy is serious than this guy, because this guy has been motivated by something he doesn't want. Anti-mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many people when they go to school, they will stay up every single night to study. Majority of them, their purpose is not to get A, is so that they don't fail. Maybe those who like school, for example, people like us, when we used to, go to school, the time that we were going to school, we were not really studying because we want to get A. We just don't want to fail. Anti-mindset thinking. Are you with me? There are many people right now, they will do everything to make sure they project themselves very well so that other people can like them. They don't want to be lonely. Motivation, anti-mindset thinking. So when you are here, you are asking, Cliff, why is it that I can't find myself being disciplined? It's because there is something that is not locked in yet in your mind. I remember back then, they would tell me, drink more water, drink more water. When I was growing up, I heard it, drink more water. It was only just 6 years ago or 6 years ago, I got sick, very, very, very sick. I had a very bad disease, and it made me lose weight and so many different things. And what happened was, they now advised me drink more water. Chief, I was drinking over 3 liters of water a day. Every day, over 3 liters. Why? Because I don't want to be feeling ill again like that. Does that make sense? I was now disciplined with water. You will not remind me. I will remind myself and I will drink the water myself. You don't need to force me. Why? Because something has happened to my mind. There was an anti-mindset thinking activated. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me carefully now. If you understand the information you're about to learn today, you will forever know that this is why I was always not doing the things I said I would do. When it comes to success, there are 2 sides of the mind that you must master. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. We are about to learn. I'm about to introduce my topic now. Pay attention now. Now that we have the foundation of several departments in thinking, maybe you are using your visual part. Maybe you are using your declarative part. Maybe you are using your goal-oriented part, your reflection part. But maybe you are not using one department. So you have heard this before, that if you want to become successful, there are two sides of the mind that you must master. The side that dreams, visualize, man, I also want the G-Wagon Brabus. Man, I also want the Mercedes. Man, I also want the Tesla. Man, I want the house. Man, I want to live on an island. Whatever it may be for you, man, I want the latest phone. You have heard that there is a part that you need to say you want, and you need to wish, desire, declare that you want it. It is true. There is a part of that is very true. And there is another side of the mindset you need to activate that is responsible for defending. Most people are taught how to use only one side, which is the creative side, and to dream bigger, to be able to visualize, to declare, and to see what they want. It is true. That is another part of the mindset, and there is nothing wrong with that. But the mistake is when people think that is all that there is. The other side is called the anti-side. Some people will say the anti, but I'm calling it anti for a reason. Does that make sense? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm introducing my topic for today. I call it the anti-mindset. The anti-mindset. You're going to learn something very powerful today that will train your mind. You will now start to understand, oh, I get it. So when that is why all the time I start something and then I stop. Yes, that is why. That is why I say I'm going to follow my trading plan and then I stop. Yes, that is why. That is why I said I was never going to over leverage again and I still over leverage. Yes, that is why. That is why. Because you have only activated one dimension of your mindset, which is responsible for dopamine. And you are forgetting that there is another type of your mind that needs to be activated for defense. The anti-mindset. If you are ready to learn, I want you to declare to yourself wherever you are that I am ready to learn. 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 If you are ready to learn, I am ready to teach. If you are ready to learn, I am ready to teach. Okay, I am ready to learn. Okay, today we're going to be learning something very interesting. The anti-mindset. This is the part of your brain or your mindset that is responsible for defense. You heard me saying this, that a lot of people will stay up and they will do everything in their power to make sure they don't sleep so that they can write an exam. Believe me, they desire to get an A, but the main motivation why they are awake is so that they don't get an F. If you understand, let me go into the comment section right now. If you understand what I'm saying, drop some number ones in the chat. Do you get it? Drop some number ones in the chat. You understand what I'm saying? Drop some number ones in the chat. Is that true? That some people can stay up. This is the first time I'm looking into the comment section right now. Guys, forgive me. I want to go straight to the point. Do you believe there are many people that will stay up for 24 hours? They don't want to get an A. If they get it, kudos. Thank God. But the motivation is so that their friends will not laugh at them. They know it in their heart that they don't want to fail. I don't know about you. Maybe you were a brainiac, so good for you. But for us, during those days in school, we just didn't want to fail. We just want to cross the mark and just hide behind the mark. That was the motivation. And it will keep us 24 hours a day than to say we want to get an A. Are you with me? This is the truth. That's the motivation so that your friends will not laugh at you, will motivate you to stay up 24 hours. So some of you guys right now, yes, you have dreamed big. You have been dreaming big. I want to get my own house. I want to get my own car. But you have not thought about the opposite side of the thing that will push you away. Push you away from the state. You are not angry in your spirit enough. Wherever that you are right now, I want you to basically, media, just bring me some music up on the screen right now. I want us to be angry in our spirit. That there is a dimension of your mindset that needs to be activated for you to be able to go to the next level. It's not just about you saying, oh my God, I desire for it. You will see people clicking on buy, sell, and you will load almost 50 lots. And the 50 lots is like 0.01, 0.0 plenty, and you desire it. That is not what changes your life. So wherever that you are right now listening to me, whether you are on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, listen. There is a part of the mindset right now we need to activate. It's called the anti-mindset. This night, this evening, wherever that you are, we need to activate the things you hate. It is not about the love you are looking for. What about the heartbreak you don't need this year? It's not about the money you want. What about the expenses you don't need this year? Because those things is where the motivation comes from. So wherever you are, I want you to declare to yourself, be angry in your spirit, that I don't want the life that doesn't come with peace. Anti-mindset. Yes, I know you want peace. But what about what you don't want? What about what you won't tolerate anymore? Yes, I know you want friends, but what about the ones that are pulling you down? Anti-mindset. Let that motivate you. People sometimes say, Cliff, why is it that when you start something, the people that know you will not support you? Yes, let that be the motivation. Let that be the motivation. Eventually, they will support you. Let that be the motivation. Don't think about them, but let that be the motivation. So the anti-mindset is the kind of mindset that knows, listen, if I don't stay up and read this book, next year by this time, I will still be begging. I refuse to beg. Declare to yourself, I refuse to borrow. If you don't stay up and listen to this masterclass, maybe to you, next year by this time, you will still be borrowing, but I refuse to borrow. I refuse to borrow. You need to activate your anti-mindset this evening. Yes, I know you want to be successful, but what about the things that you hate? So sometimes when you guys see this, it's not just a coincidence. I hate poverty. I think this should be the declaration before we go into this masterclass. Wherever you are, declare to yourself, I hate poverty. I know you want to be rich. I know you want to be successful. I know you want your life to change. I know you want to be a trader who wants to become successful, but do you hate poverty enough that it makes you so angry that you wake up in the morning reading that book? That it makes you so angry that you don't even care about the mentor that bought the G-Wagon Brabus, the mentor that bought the Lamborghini. You don't care. You don't care. Are you guys with me? I hate poverty. I hate poverty. There is nothing nice about it. Poverty has a scent. Poverty has a scent. Poverty has a visual. You can see it clearly. If something is poor, it can smell. I hate poverty. So right now, if you're angry in your spirit, position yourself. It's okay. Let's bring it down. Position yourself right now, and I want you to listen to this information powerfully. The purpose of this masterclass, watch this. I'm going to be able to balance the creation side and the consequence side for you. When you understand it, my next job is to show you how you can train your conscious to be able to have the anti-mindset. So that every day you are angry within your spirit in a healthy way. It's not that you are walking around and you hate everybody. No. But you hate the things that will not let you become. Are you with me? So now let's balance it. I wrote down here. You already know. Pick up your pen and pick up your book and let's read. And what I'm teaching you, you are writing. You see, the human mind is driven by two forces. I wrote down here two forces. Every single human being you will meet, driven by two forces. Every single human being that you will meet, they are driven by two forces. Every single human. Number one is attraction. Number two is avoidance. Number one is attraction. Number two is avoidance. Before I explain this, that is why sometimes when you get what you want, you lose focus. Because the human mind can be quick to forget where they are coming from. And before you realize, they go up, and they come down. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I remember when we started building this vision, we used to get 500 views across social media, whatever, Instagram. As I'm sitting down here with you, every single minimum 20 days, if I look at my Instagram, the number of pages we reach in a week, in a month, it blows my mind. The number of page visits, it blows my mind. But at the end of the day, that is not where we are going. What motivates me is that we will kill ignorance in the mindset first in my people. When I say my people, I'm talking about the African space. Also the body of Christ. We will kill ignorance. This is the motivation. And until ignorance dies, we are going. So whether we are getting 1 million views, whether we are getting so and so subscribers, we are pushing. That is not the motivation, even though we need that. So if you are here right now, you have not subscribed, subscribe. Number one. Number two, if you have not liked the video, like it, because we need the reach to also impact. But the motivation is killing ignorance. So there are two forces that always motivate human being in their mind. Number one is attraction, the desire to move toward what you want. And number two is avoidance, the awareness to move away. So there are two things. If you pick up, if you find this one person, the two things that motivates this individual is the things that move him towards something and the things that move him away. So let's say, for example, this individual is desiring to become a trader. That means that must be part of the things that needs to inspire this person. People sometimes say you don't need motivation, you need the chief. You need it. But then the things that you want does not motivate, it inspires. Watch this. The things that you see that you want, they only inspire you. What motivates you is the things you don't want. In the irony is very crazy. Your mindset is an interesting state. The things that you want, they only inspire. They don't motivate, but you need motivation. Motivation is like a fire. You need it, but you can never be in a perpetual motivational mode all the time unless you remind yourself the things you also don't want. So when you see somebody on Instagram and they inspire you because of the things they showed you that they are getting, good. But inspiration alone will not get you there. You also need the motivation. Are you guys with me? And the only way to be motivated, it has to be internal. Okay? Good. So avoidance, the awareness to move away from what you are losing. Most people only build the first attraction. But if life requires both, what do you need to do? You need to focus on both attraction, and then you need to focus on avoidance. Give me a second. Are you guys with me? Success live in the balance. I want to give you guys some chance to write. So attraction and avoidance. So now that we have talked about the 5 departments of thinking: visual, declarative, goal-oriented, reflective, and anti-thinking mindset. So we are picking just the anti parts. Stay with me. Now, what is the anti-mindset really all about? Now you're going to take a lot of notes here. I'm going to tell you what the anti-mindset really is all about. It's about rejection. It's about awareness. It's about understanding that for every dream you have, there is also a consequence if you stop protecting it. Are you with me? Write this down. It's for you to understand that for every dream you have, there is also a consequence if you stop protecting it. So I wrote down here, I was trying to look for something neuroscientific to give it a cool understanding. And I wrote down here that the anti-mindset is a psychological immune system of your goals. The anti-mindset is a psychological immune system of your goals. The anti-mindset is a psychological immune system of your goals. The anti-mindset is a psychological immune system of your goals. It's the part of your mind that remembers why you started. You know, you may have heard me saying this before, that when you see the word why, W-H-Y, the W is for will, the H is for help, and then the Y is you. So your why will help you. W is for will, H is for help, and Y is for you. Your why will help you. Help you to do what? Help you to keep going. Help you to not quit it. Does that make sense? And so the anti-mindset is a psychological immune system of your goals. It's the part of your mind that it remembers why you started. It's a part of your mind that now tells you what happens when you stop. So when you stop learning how to trade, you know there is a time coming in this world you need a skill. Without a skill, you are in trouble. Don't forget that. Are you with me? Who you become when you neglect discipline. It's not a fear-based, but it's a wisdom-based structure. Now that you know what the anti-mindset really is all about, the question now becomes, why is necessary? Why is it necessary that you activate this mindset? You know, most people lose momentum, simple as ABCD, when they don't understand the consequences. Remember what I was telling you about this person and the friend here, and then this laptop guy? There is the motivation this guy will get to cut these people off is not based on the sweet things they told him. It's based on the lies he heard that exposed them. Motivation. If they call him, he will never pick. It doesn't even matter even if these guys are rich. He will never pick because he's now motivated to know that these people will not add anything to his life. So when you understand the consequences of how something can affect you if you don't do what you said you would do. It motivates you a lot. So that is why in the masterclass of routine and discipline, I explained and I said that this person who can go to the gym so much than this person because this guy is afraid to die. That has become what, so in that context, what do you think it is? He doesn't want to die, so he is serious than this. Not because he wants to get the big body. So no matter how somebody will show you, that is why as a mentor, if you're listening to me right now and you're a mentor, it is very important that you show the consequences of what happened in your life when you disobeyed certain things. The reason why you will not jump from a 50th story building is because you don't want to go down. Yes, it's because you don't want to go down. You don't want to die. So you understand. And a lot of people don't understand laws and principles. That is why when you tell them to think, they say, oh, what are you talking about? It's because they don't understand the consequences of thinking negative yet. But they know that if they jump from a 50th story building, they will go down. On our previous master classes, I think I was teaching you guys about different kinds of laws and so on and so forth. And I started by saying that there are 4 types of realities. We have the perceived reality, we have the experienced reality, we have objective reality, and we have the spiritual reality. Now, it doesn't matter whether you believe there is a spiritual reality or not, but you can't deny its existence. Right now, you are listening to me. Wherever that you are, when I speak, you can hear me. Why? Is it because my laptop is here? No, Chief. That is not, yes, I have a laptop, but that is not the reason why you are hearing me. You are hearing me because of a spiritual reality called the internet. You can't see it, but you can't deny its existence. Are you with me? The internet is here. You are not seeing no waves, no wires, but the internet is here. When I speak, it transports my voice to you. Spiritual reality. So the fact that you can't see certain things does not mean it doesn't exist. It's not true. So why is it necessary? Think about it this way. You work out not only to get fit, I wrote down here, but to avoid feeling unhealthy again. Number 2, you manage money not only to grow wealth, but to also avoid being broke again. So until being broke becomes the motivation, you will forever chase money. The irony is crazy. It's like you don't want to be broke, but you still need that concept to be able to be rich. So you need to understand the concept that until you activate the reality of this consciousness, you will forever not understand how it works. That is why sometimes when you read the Bible or any other book that wants to help you in life, it shows you the promise. It also shows you the consequences. Yes, it shows you the consequences. It shows you the consequence. There is a very beautiful story in the Bible in Exodus. It was the part where God told Moses to keep his hand up. Watch this. So God told Moses, keep your hand up. As long as your hand is up, that they will keep on winning the battle. Your people will keep on winning the battle. So Moses kept his hands up, and the Bible says as long as he kept his hand up, they kept on winning the battle. But then when Moses' hand was going down, the Bible says they started losing the battle. The interesting thing is, watch this. Moses' hand didn't start going down because he wanted to. He was tired. Oh my God. But you see, when it comes to laws and principles, it doesn't care whether you are tired or you are emotional. You can cry and say, this is all that I have. I don't want to blow the money, and the forex market will still blow it if you broke risk management rules. Are you with me? So Moses was just tired, but yet he still kept on. They created a system and brought something to hold his hand so that they can win the battle. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand that the motivation of Moses' hand was not because he wanted them to win the battle. It's because he didn't wanted them to lose. Anti-mindset. So right now, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes right now. Wherever that you are right now, if you are writing something, pick up your book and write down something you don't want in your life in the next 2 years, in the next 1 year, in the next month. Don't write the things you want. Write the things you don't want. I'm not saying write the things that you desire that didn't exist in your life. It will exist if you still don't do what is right. But write the things that is opposite the things that if you knew it exists in your life, it will stress you. Write it down. I'm giving you a few seconds, right? You know it already. It is already in your head. You know what you don't like. Are you with me? It's very necessary. You follow your trading plan. So what you can do is that I'm following my trading plan, not because what? Not because I want to make profit, but I want to avoid self-destruction. This is an anti-mindset. That's how I want you to write it. I am going to manage my finances well, not because I want to be rich only, but I don't want to be broke again. Anti-mindset. Write something down like that. Because by this week coming, I want you to declare it. Write it down. You are always motivated by both vision and the consequences. If you are having a mentor and he doesn't tell you about the vision, he doesn't tell you about the consequences of the vision, the anti-vision part, then you are eventually going to lose motivation. If you lose motivation, everything else you will do will come from a place of struggle. It's just the way it is. You also need motivation. Inspiration alone is not enough. You are inspired by what you see. You are motivated by what you don't want. Don't forget this quote. You are inspired by what you see, but you are motivated by what you don't want. Now, the next couple of few things, a very, very short masterclass today, but it's going to give you a lot of clarity on why you don't do some certain things. Now, let's talk about, I'm going to give you guys 3 steps. I'm going to give you guys 3 steps on how to train your conscious mind to activate your anti-mindset thinking. 3 steps. 3 steps. I'm going to give you guys 3 steps. 3 steps. The step 1, you need to write your vision. You need to write your vision. You can never have an anti-mindset without the vision being clear. You need to write your vision. You need to write your vision. What are you building? What does success look like? What are you building? What are you doing? What do you want? Write the vision down. Write the vision. Write the vision. What are you building? What does success look like to you? Write it down. That is the step number 1. So step number 1, how do you train your anti-mindset? How do you train your mind to be able to see things from a consequence perspective in a healthy way? All right? In a healthy way. You need to be able to write down your vision. You need to know, you need to visualize what you want. There needs to be a vision. You need to write down the vision. Then after you have written down the vision, after the step 1, the step 2 is write your anti-vision. Meaning, what happens if I don't stay consistent? What happens if I don't do this? What happens if I stop doing TP Masterclass? What happens if I don't launch this book at the date that is coming? By the way, this is the book. You guys are going to see it. All right, soon. You are not a trader yet. This book is coming live. Our official book coming up. You are not a trader yet. So what happens if I don't release this book? Okay, only I know it. So what happens? What happens to the community? What happens to the people? What happens to the things they're asking me? What happens if you don't do what you said you would do? You need to remind yourself. Because sometimes you will realize that the reason why you don't do the things you said you would do is because there is 0 consequences. You see, when you take consequences away from any context of any moment, you have taken away the motivation. You have taken away the motivation. One of the things that one of my spiritual fathers told me is when there is no consequences, no matter what you are doing, whether you are building a team, whether you are building a business, when there are no consequences, the people you are working with, they don't know why they should do what they should do. It's as simple as that. Does that make sense? And so consequences is one of the most important things if you want to become successful. What will happen if you don't do what you said you would do? What is the price you are going to pay if you stick with the same old habit? What is the price? What is the price you will pay? So you will realize that the reason why you cannot find yourself doing the things you said you would do is because there are no consequences. So you know how to cheat yourself through it. That is it. There are no consequences. There are no consequences. So what you need to do, number 1 step, and what did I say? You need to write your vision. What are you building? What does success look like? Then after you have written down your vision, you need to write the anti-vision to that vision. Meaning that what happens if I don't stay consistent? What is the kind of person I will become if I stop growing? Does that make sense? A lot of people are learning AI, not because they are in love with it. They know what will happen to them in the next couple of few years if they don't know how AI works. They know because we are going. You see, when it comes to this life that we live in, you can't stop evolution. You can't. Life will always keep on evolving. And so when you understand the consequences of things, it starts to change everything. Are you with me? So number one, write your vision. Number two, anti-vision. Number three, merge them. Merge them. Merge them. Let your anti-vision feed your discipline and your vision feed your faith. Merge them. You need both energy to flow. So one will pull you forward and the other one will push you from behind. Does that make sense? So the anti-mindset is at your back and then your vision is at your front because you are ready to become. So the vision will be pulling you forward. It's like, let's go. You got this. You got this. And imagine your anti-mindset saying, let's go. You got this. This is the mindset you have. So when you don't have this, this is what's going to happen. Because the you, your mindset and the environment and life is too strong to keep you in the same position, even though you know where you are going. So when you now add the consequences now push you as a motivation and say, you got this, Cliff. If you don't keep on going, the ignorance will not leave this generation. Cliff, if you don't keep going, you will keep on staying at one location and the anti-mindset keeps on pushing you. Are you with me? So while your vision, the things you want is pushing you, is pulling you forward. It's like holding your neck and saying, Cliff, you got this. Let's go. The anti-mindset says, yes, he got this. Cliff, if you don't keep on doing this, bro, you don't want to keep on being this person. Keep on going. So you need both. So step one, you write your vision. Step two, you write the anti-vision. And step three, you merge them. Are you with me? You merge them. So this is the example I gave you. I am following my trading plan so that I avoid self-destruction. It's not complete if you don't add both of them together to activate the mindset. So I don't know whatever it is that you are trying to achieve right now. And there is a very beautiful story about an entrepreneur woman that I believe that her story hit me so hard that it made me understood the anti-mindset very well, how powerful it is. So once upon a time, there is this woman. It's not a story. It actually happened. So there is this woman, and I've forgotten her name, but she's a very famous woman. I think I came across the video, and I remember her face, but I don't remember her name. And she was talking about how she became a multi-millionaire. And one of the things that made her become a multi-millionaire is not because she desired millions. Yes, of course, who doesn't? Or, I mean, most people do. But then it was because one day she wanted to buy diapers. Maybe some of you guys may have even come across this story. She wanted to buy diapers for her child. But then when she went to the ATM machine, she realized she couldn't withdraw the money because there was nothing in it to be able to even use to buy the diapers for the child. And she said that moment, she had no choice but to use a napkin, just a cloth to cover the child. And she said that moment, she vowed to herself, this will never happen to her child anymore. Anti-mindset activated. Come on now. So there is something that happens to a man. If the anti-mindset of that man gets activated, there is nothing you can do anymore. Have you ever realized people that they get heartbroken and they are crying and they are saying, please take me back. I am in love with you. But the other person is like, I'm sorry, but I have moved on. Something has happened to their mind. There is nothing, some of you guys don't leave me here. You know yourself. I think for me, my first heartbreak, I cried. And I was begging this girl. I'll never forget. I was begging her. And she was like, no, I'm sorry, Cliff. You should move on, Cliff. I'm sorry, Cliff. Move on, Cliff. And I was like, no, I can't. I want you. She said, no, move on, Cliff. Some of you guys who are here are listening. You have gotten your heart broken. Anti-mindset. Switch it up now. She is gone. She has moved on. Move on too. She doesn't want you anymore. And some of you guys will say, don't worry. I will make it and you will see. You will regret. Chief, she won't. She won't regret anything. She will not regret. In fact, she will find somebody for her life that will also equally treat her even better more than you could have. And it is fine. Same way you will also find somebody for your life. Does that make sense? But she has moved on. She doesn't want you. You are not the picture of what she wants anymore in her life. And it is okay. She is not the only one on earth, same as you. But when somebody's anti-mindset triggers, That is it. There is nothing that can stop that person. So that story of that woman motivated me and I said, wow, this is what we call anti-mindset. That she said her child will never go through this again. And that was it. So you are here right now and you are listening to me, Cliff. I don't know why I can't do the things I said I would do, because you don't understand the consequences yet. You don't. Let me give you one more example. There is a man that he is now very huge and muscular. I was listening to his story from a podcast called Tom Billion, a very powerful podcast as well, in the ages, but it's still alive. And so Tom was interviewing this guy, and he goes like, why are you so muscular? Why are you so big? And he said, well, once upon a time, the doctors told him that he would die soon if he doesn't go to the gym. But it is not the death that motivated her. His goal was to make sure he walks his daughter, down the aisle, meaning that he wants to be the one to walk the daughter to get married. And then, because of that motivation of walking the daughter, he wanted to stay alive for that day. And he started going to the gym, as the doctor said. And while he started going to the gym, eventually the guy loved the gym. And then now he cannot stop going to the gym, even though the motivation started with, I don't want to die before I walk my daughter down the aisle. Anti-mindset. No, these kind of things, they don't naturally come. You need to, right now, what I'm teaching you is that you are here and there are some certain things that have motivated you before. It's clicking in your mind right now, correct? If it is clicking in your mind, just give an example in your own book and say, it is true. I remember when I was doing XYZ, this is why I did this. This is why I did this. So what I'm teaching you now is to activate it intentionally, because you want to be intentional about your becoming. So there are certain things you want now, and I want them for you too. But there are certain things you don't need to accept them, reject them. Let that be the motivation that pushes you. So let me bring this into the trading context. You see, every trader knows this cycle. You make progress, you feel good, you lose focus, you blow an account, and you start over again. Why? I want to talk to you guys in the comment section. You tell yourself that, man, you know what? I'm not going to do this again. So you start to be motivated. You come on this call, you are motivated. You make progress. You feel good. And then you lose focus again. Then you blow the account. And then you start over. You can even tell yourself, man, this Forex thing, this trading thing, I'll not do it again. And then you do it again. And when you start again, everything is going well. Then you lose focus. Then you blow the account. Then you start again. Why? Because you had a vision, but no anti-reminder. You see, as a trader, with only a goal gets you excited. With only the screenshot of the blues gets you excited. But a trader with the bold goal and the consequences of the awareness stays consistent. So that means the vision will make you start. You also want to be a trader like so and so. You also want to make money like so and so. But what happens? What is the consequences that is keeping you sharp? Together, this is what will make you unstoppable. It is the I don't want this that will make you say no to every nonsense thing, making you chase strategy here and there because you don't understand the consequences yet. So you don't understand. Listen, yes, I am learning how to trade, but what happens if I am not serious? What happens if I chase the hype and not the seriousness of this business? Are you guys with me? The anti-mindset. It is what brings you both into the state of awareness while you are still keeping your excitement. So you are here with listening to me right now and like, Cliff, I get your point. I'm going to give you guys a daily application I wrote down here. Every day, you need to operate from two lenses. Every day. Number one, you have your vision lens. Don't forget why you started where you started. Some of you guys, you are going to come here every single Saturday. I know. Some more people too will not come here every Saturday. But what is the consequences when you stop growing? I've said this before and I'll say it again. When you eat, you only increase. You only grow when you have knowledge. Watch this. Food only increases you. You don't grow because you ate. You increase because you ate. You only grow because of what is in your mind. Have you ever seen somebody who is very old and you question the person and say, hey, Chief, how old are you? Why are you asking the person that? The person is big. In fact, I'm sure he has a pot belly. But you are still asking the person, how old are they? Are they not grown? But in your mind, you are like, Chief, why, if you are 50 years, why are you speaking like that? And the same way you can find a child And the way the child is so young but articulated, you go like, how old are you? And they will tell you, I am 15 years. And you're like, wow, 15 years? And you sound like you are 50. Growth is knowledge. Food only make you increase. So now one you need to understand is that, listen, if what happens when I stop growing, meaning what happens when I stop learning, this will be what will motivate you to come onto the masterclass. Not be, people sometimes say things like, Clay, thank you so much ever since I came across your channel. And I'm glad, but I am not the only mentor, Chief. There are several mentors out there that God is raising to bring revelation in this generation. However, I do take my students very seriously. I do take you guys watching me now seriously. So you must be rest assured that by the grace of God, every single TP masterclass, I will do my best to give you the information that will let you become. But the moment you stop growing, everything changes. Why? You will now start to go back into an area you don't want. So keep this in mind every single day. 2 lenses. When we say 2 lenses, do you know what it means? It means imagine your glasses, and this is lens 1. Don't walk like this. One eye, mine. Don't walk like this. Walk like this. 1 is for vision lenses. 1 is for what? The anti-lens. Vision lens, anti-lens. When you walk like this, you only see one side. When you walk like this, you see both sides. Okay, I want to become successful. I don't want to be broke anymore. 2 lenses. Are you with me? So every single day, what do you do now? You walk with these 2 lenses. What am I building? And what will cost me if I stop? 2 lenses. So before every major decision, remind yourself of both. That's what keeps you emotionally intelligent, stable. There is something I used to do back in the days when I was, I'm a man, all right? And again, I'm saying this, all the men that is going to pretend for them, they are holy, are thou, good for you. I'm a man. And so as a man, you need to be able to understand that there are several things that will enter your mind as a man. You know what I mean, man? So one of the ways that I use to train myself to become a man that is responsible, that not everything you will see, you are like, hey, I'm going there. This is how I did it. I will always look at a situation and I will picture myself finishing the situation, and I will come back to reality, and the consequences of that, it motivates me to stay away. Are you with me? Are you guys learning what do you understand that as a man or as a woman, it doesn't matter. Let the consequences of what is trying to happen in the future that has not happened yet, bring the emotional consequences to your present day. Let the consequences motivate you to stay away. It doesn't matter whatever it is, addiction, whatever. That is something I use to train my mind. So a lot of you guys, the reason why you are still blowing an account is because you have not imagined how blowing an account in the future will feel like before you go into the market. Oh yes, Chief. There are days I did that too. There are days I will sit down and I will imagine myself and say, Cliff, if you use this lot size and this happened, how would you feel? That's it. And I said, man, I don't want this. Training your mind. 2 lenses, vision and the anti-lens. Are you with me? So if you are here today and you're asking yourself, Cliff, I don't know why I can't find myself being disciplined. It's because you're looking at life from one lens dimension. Only the things you want. What about the things you also don't want? That is the motivator. That is the motivator. So the reason why people ask me a lot and say, Cliff, how do you do the things you do and still stay consistent? Because I've looked around my life and I have packaged many things I don't want, and I have seen them, and I said, no, because of this, I will keep on doing X, Y, Z. Are you with me? So if you came on this masterclass right now, and while you are about to go into the following week, this week coming, maybe last week you were struggling to be disciplined, following your trading plan, and you are struggling, it's because the motivation to follow the trading plan is not there. How do you get the motivation? You get the motivation by reminding yourself the things you don't want. If $100 is all that you have, think about what it will mean to you when you blow it. If you are a parent, print the picture, I've said this before, of your loved ones and put it in front of you and watch them go broke while you are being undisciplined about that $1,000. When you imagine your kids begging you, Daddy, what will we eat? And you don't have no money because you wanted to be greedy for just 5 minutes. There you go. Look at the kids in the eyes and tell them, it's because I didn't want to follow my trading plan. Anti-mindset. When you understand it from this concept, everything changes. You wouldn't need anybody to tell you to get up. You will get up. So many of you guys here right now, you are desiring many things. It is good, but you are not understanding the consequences if you don't achieve the things you know you have to achieve. So wherever that you are right now, as I told you, this was a very simple masterclass today. This was not my topic for today. In fact, today I wanted to teach a very powerful topic called self-sabotage. But then something dropped in my spirit and I said, people need this masterclass today. That they are about to quit because they think that the things they want, they are not getting. But they don't know that the same energy it takes to quit will take you back to what you don't want. So why don't you make what you don't want motivate you to push you to what you want? So I knew that this masterclass, there is something that somebody needs to hear about this masterclass today as a trader, today as an e-commerce businessman, today as an entrepreneur. You needed to hear this today. The anti-mindset. And so wherever that you are, don't forget this. Next week, of course, God willing, I will try my best to teach the self-sabotage, the psychology of self-sabotage. Some of you guys are wondering, Cliff, I don't know why I am always sabotaging my results. There is a psychology to that. We will teach that. But today I knew this masterclass was important for somebody, that there is a reason why you are not doing the things you said you would do, because you have not activated the anti-side of your thinking. So ladies and gentlemen, remember when we started, we broke down 5 departments. Visual thinking is already activated. Some of you, it got activated through the movies you watch. Whether good movie, bad movie, you have activated it. Some of you, the declarative thinking, this masterclass has activated it for some of you guys. Goal-oriented thinking, some of you guys have activated that part. Reflective thinking, so. Some people love reflecting, some people also don't. Maybe after today, you will activate that. But the anti-thinking, the protective thinking part, a lot of people didn't activate it yet. And if today, after this masterclass, you are ready, wherever you are, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever, maybe you are watching me live right now with your community, because some other people also invite people to watch this masterclass with them. Thank you guys, by the way. Wherever that you are, put it in the comment section right now and say, I am ready to activate my anti-thinking mindset. Declare it to yourself. I am ready. And if you are ready, don't ever forget that at the end of the day, watch this. That dream big, but also remember the pain that made you started dreaming. There is a saying that there is a way people cry when they are drowning, and there is a way they cry when you bring them to the seashore. Don't forget what the sea almost did to you, so be careful. So the anti-mindset doesn't cancel your goals, but it protects them. It reminds you that every vision has a price, and you pay the price through daily discipline. So your future doesn't just need a dreamer, it needs a God. So be both. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this masterclass does something for somebody. This was not my topic for today, but I believe this topic was timely and it was needed, and it must be on this masterclass playlist. But next week, God will not forget, we are learning something very powerful called the psychology of self-sabotage. Why is it that I am always giving away back the profit to the market? Why is it that I don't think I deserve more? Why is it that every single time something good is coming into my life, I somehow find a way to give it away? Why? There is a psychology to that, and we will learn that. But prior before that, don't forget this. Media, let's bring some music up and let's just clear this and let's go. That I am activating my anti-mindset. And the things that I want and the things that I don't want, both of them is shaping my mind. That I am becoming. Wherever that you are right now, declare to yourself, I am becoming. I am becoming the person that I know that I have to become. I am becoming the trader I know I have to become. That once upon a time, before this masterclass, I didn't understand that I needed to activate my anti-thinking part. But now I understand it is true, Cliff. It is really true. Because most of the times, even me, I will stay up and learn so that I don't get an F. Why did I forget that part of my thinking? Don't worry. Today we have activated it back again. So wherever that you are going right now, keep it in mind that I understand that the things I don't want is the motivator, and the things that I want is the inspirator. So the inspiration comes from the things I want, and the motivation comes from the things I don't want. Both of them, I need that mindset. So while the things I want is pulling me towards it, the things I don't want is pushing me towards it. Are you guys with me? This happens also in a spiritual way, that even both God also uses both what is good and what will happen to you if you don't follow it to grow you. Do this and leave. If you don't, these are the consequences. It's also a spiritual law. So wherever that you are, let this masterclass transform that part of your mindset. And remember, it is this mindset that will keep you going, even when you are tired, even when you blow an account. So ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to trade anymore because you blew an account last week without being disciplined. So you want to stop trading, be my guest. But when you stop trading, remember, what would you do? If you stop building that business, remember, what would you do? If you stop learning the new skill, what would you do? Are you going back to be broke? I've told you this before, that being successful is hard and becoming broke is also hard. Choose your heart. I will see you guys on the next masterclass, and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Trading is a mind game. You heard me. Trading is a mind game. Fix your mind, fix your trading. 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 Trading is a mind game.